The lines between good and evil are not always easily drawn. Not everything in life is as clear as the difference between black and white or night and day. But there are times when the difference between good and evil is clearly drawn and unmistakable. On October 7th, 2023, over 1,400 people in Israel, almost all civilians, were slaughtered and thousands more were wounded. Hundreds of people were kidnapped, including babies, children, defenseless men and women, old ladies in their 90s. Countless women and girls were raped. Many were raped and then murdered. Women, girls, children were mutilated. So were defenseless adults of all ages. Babies were murdered. Babies, children, whole families were burned alive. People were beheaded. People were shot at point-blank range. One surviving witness reports seeing a woman with long brown hair raped by multiple men and then had her breasts cut off and tossed from one terrorist to another before being murdered. Another woman was raped by multiple men and then was shot in the head while the last terrorist was still inside of her, raping her. There were bodies, including of babies, where hands and limbs were cut off. Two young sisters, still girls, were found in their room, raped and murdered, with semen on the back of one girl whose pants were taken down. One terrorist, young terrorist, proudly called his parents to inform them he had killed 10 defenseless Jews, including girls, to which his parents responded not with condemnation, but with praises and exuberance. The naked body of a young woman can be seen on the back of a pickup truck with terrorists sitting on top of her body, driving through Gaza as people, including children, spat on her body and beat her. An Israeli little boy taken hostage can be seen held by the arm by a terrorist in Gaza while other children beat him with whips. A terrorist can be seen toying with a little baby girl kidnapped from Israel as though she were a toy, as she looks utterly lost and bewildered. A woman is pulled out from her vehicle, her hands bound, pulled by the hair from one vehicle into another, with blood covering her pants in the rear. Hamas and Islamic Jihad themselves took these videos and many others. There are countless videos of the October 7th nightmare. Many homes, other locations, and vehicles had cameras documenting some of the horror. Many Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorists, including terrorists killed, had GoPro and other videos of their atrocities. There are many witnesses to the atrocities. There is an enormous amount of forensic evidence. A pregnant woman had her baby torn from her open stomach before she was murdered. Other people were disemboweled. It is inexcusable. It is evil to deny what Hamas and Islamic Jihad did to babies, children, women, girls, old people, defenseless adults, because someone opposes Israel or because someone supports Palestinians. It is inexcusable. It is evil to deny what happened because someone does not like Jews or Israel. It is inexcusable. It is evil to justify the crimes, the evil and crimes against humanity that Hamas and Islamic Jihad committed by deflecting and shifting responsibility. Many argue that because of things Israel has allegedly done, Hamas and Islamic Jihad are to be excused. Even if the allegations are true, which is often doubtful, nothing ever justifies rape, murder, kidnapping, torturing, and mutilating civilians. There is no excuse ever for raping women, raping girls, beheading people, burning people alive, mutilating people, desecrating bodies, torturing people. The fact that millions of people cannot bring themselves to condemn raping women, raping girls, torturing, mutilating, burning alive, beheading, kidnapping people, from babies to old people in their 90s, because this took place on the land of Israel by Hamas and Islamic Jihad, shows clearly that this is not about support for Palestinian Arabs, but instead it is about hatred for Jews in Israel. The war against the Jews has never ended, even though many were lulled for a brief period of time into thinking otherwise. The next time a voice is raised, there is a protest by Me Too advocates. Remember the silence and all who excuse, justify, deny rape, torture, sexual abuse of girls, children, and women when the victims are Jews. Remember women and children rights activists, activists for the elderly, activists for the disabled, handicapped, feeble, and weak, because yes, the disabled were murdered, raped, and kidnapped. Activists for minority rights, human rights activists, anti-war activists who are silent about every war on the planet unless Israel is somehow involved. Remember, the next time any of them raise their voices but choose silence, denial, justifications, even approval when rape, murder, torture, mutilation, and other crimes against humanity are committed against Jews. When it comes to raping, murdering, sodomizing, sexually abusing little girls, women, old people, handicapped and disabled people, beheading, burning alive, mutilating defenseless people, desecrating and parading around the naked corpse of a young woman, all of which took place by Hamas and Islamic Jihad on October 7th. Remember those who are silent, those who deny, those who excuse, those who justify, those who demonically approve of rape, murder, mutilation, kidnapping, and torture, and want more of it committed against Jews. Any decent person, not just a Jew, should remember for the rest of their lives on which side the other people in their lives took when the line between good and evil was clearly drawn on October 7th. This does not mean someone cannot support Palestinians or oppose the Israeli government. It does mean that when it comes to rape, murder, mutilation, torture, deliberately harming the helpless and defenseless, when this is excused, ignored, justified, or encouraged because it is happening against the Jew and Israeli, then it is clear that person is on the side of evil. Remembering October 7th, 2023 includes remembering those who are silent, those who support, those who deny, those who justify the crimes against humanity that occurred on that day by Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Raping, murdering, beheading, mutilating, torturing, burning alive is always demonic. It is always evil. The fact that the victims are Jews or Israeli does not change this fact. The many civilians that have died in Gaza, including children, do not excuse, even if someone blames the Israelis for the raping, murdering, mutilating, kidnapping, and torturing that Hamas and Islamic Jihad committed on October 7th. It was Hamas and Islamic Jihad that went out to rape, mutilate, kidnap, and slaughter on October 7th. It was Hamas and Islamic Jihad that then chose to hide in their terror tunnels underground in Gaza and use Gazan civilians and children as their human shields. If someone truly wants the killing stopped, then tell Hamas and Islamic Jihad to surrender immediately with Israel, giving them free passage and one-way tickets out of Gaza, never to return, and to join their pampered, extremely wealthy leaders living lives of luxury in Iran, Qatar, Turkey, and elsewhere. If Hamas and Islamic Jihad remain in control of Gaza, it is only a matter of time when they will once again pursue their goal of genocide against the Jewish people, and once again rape, murder, torture, kidnap, mutilate, behead, and burn alive defenseless civilians living in Israel. They will continue also to brainwash new generations of children to hate, to demonize, to join their pathological cult of rape, murder, genocide, atrocities, mutilation.